Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Hope you're having a great Friday. I'm Jay Zawoski with Greg Boyson and Mario Tirabassi. Thanks for being with us. Make sure you smash that like button on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Podcast listeners, follow, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. And check out allchgo.com for all your Chicago sports needs. Fellas, how we doing? Everything good?
Doing great. I see you guys brought out the AI when I was gone, so good to know that even when I'm gone, you're trying to replace me. So it's nice.
Oh, it did a really good job.
Yeah, did a better job than me. Great. Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah.
Was really selling the golf outing well, and man, it was doing good.
Never felt more secure in my job.
No, we were driving. If you missed it yesterday, I took my daughter Addie to work yesterday. She wanted to come to the office just to see Casey more than anything. And
that's why we all go to the office.
Yeah, so we fired up ChatGPT, and she wanted to recast some movies. She had been doing some of her favorites, like Ferris Bueller and Mean Girls and stuff like that. And I'm like, all right, do Slapshot. So she did that, and it was a pretty comical outcome. So check out yesterday's show if you missed that. We also made a YouTube video of just that. So yeah, check it out. It was fun. But no, Mario, your job is secure. You're good. We love you. We miss you. You know that. So
for now,
I think we spent the first 15 minutes just lamenting your absence and how much we missed you. And
I know that's not true.
We have like a spotlight on your empty chair, and we hung your jersey. We hung your tiny little Hawks jersey.
Oh yeah, from when I was 9.
Yeah. We hung it up in the studio.
Perfect.
So yeah. So are you all ready for the golf outing? Are you all
Yeah, I played around to 18. It didn't throw my back out, so that's good. Still young and spry enough. I will say though, I played around in May. And that was the first round I played of the season. Played okay. This round that I played was a golf outing with my dad and my grandpa and then one of my grandpa's friends. And man, I was hitting the ball really well. Not to sound full of myself. I was hitting the ball really well. The problem was every time I hit the ball really well, it was the wrong club. I don't know how many greens I skied yesterday. I lost count. It was getting ridiculous. But yeah, it felt good. It was good to get out. Got a lot of sun. I will say though, I took a shower this morning and had a shower thought. Are like ankle tan lines in the summer worse than ankle dents? Because my ankles from the like ankle down to my foot is white as a ghost, and now from the right on the ankle bone up, I got a ton of sun yesterday and it's really tan, and I was like, ooh, this is awkward if I ever want to wear sandals in the next month and a half.
Yeah.
Well, if you wear the sandals or the flip-flops, then you get the flip-flop tan line. I have those.
You get
you can't win
the thong tan line on your foot.
Yeah, I can't even wear flip-flops anymore because I couldn't find them for the first half of the summer. So I wore my Hey Dudes, my little shoes, and now I have like white feet and tan legs.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that way until next summer, I think. So.
It's tough.
Yeah, like, with the golf clubs, like if I'm okay off the tee. I use a 3-wood. I have like a hybrid. What do you call it? Like a fairway. What do you call
fairway
that?
Hybrid? Yeah.
Yeah, like a fairway driver. I don't know. Whatever. It's a 3-wood. I use that off the tee because I have no control with the driver, and I can putt okay, but everything in between is a freaking adventure.
Yeah.
I have no clue if I'm going to hit it 3 feet or 300 yards.
I'll tell you what. If we play in a group in the CHGO outing, I think we might be fine because my irons are good. My driving is atrocious. So
okay, good.
If we're paired together, we still got to see the pairings, but if we're paired together, I think we might be okay.
Let's make that happen. And if you want to join us, allchgo.com, navigate over to our events page, and you will see our CHGO kickoff classic golf tournament. That is August 25th at Cog Hill, 9 a.m. shotgun start. Cog Hill. Yes, you heard me correct. They're allowing us to play at Cog Hill. We'll tell you all the information about that a little later in the show, but we would love for you to join us. Spots are filling up, so jump in there. Allchgo.com. We'll see you August 25th. All right, let's get to the old hockey, shall we?
Yeah.
Slapped it long enough.
I look so dark. I'm doing this show despite not having any electricity in my home. So let's see how long this lasts.
After the show, you'll be churning butter, milking the cow.
Yeah, I've got the hamster wheel going to provide the Wi-Fi to get through this. So either at some point in the show, either I'm just going to disappear because I don't know how much longer my computer's going to last, or it's going to get very bright in my screen because the power will come back on. So one of those two options.
Stay tuned for the thrilling outcome of Greg's
get your bets in now. Will I make it through the end of the show or not? Which is sad because I'm actually getting better like video feed off of my phone than I do on the very expensive Wi-Fi I have in my home. So that's a little discouraging.
Troubling, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
At least it's affordable. So another day, another Seth Jones disrespect. This time our pal Jay Fresh, follow him on Twitter at JFreshHockey. Really good stuff. I appreciate what he does. He ran a fan poll. And
there's your first problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Fan polls suck.
Yeah. I voted on some of these things before. So basically what happens is two random names will pop up and you will vote for who you think is better. That's how Jay Fresh runs these polls. So I will say, not super scientific, but out of 279,274 head-to-head votes, he came out with a large pool of defenseman rankings. And his first graphic has the top 64. Seth Jones comes in at number 51.
Yeah. When I saw that, there was a part of me that was like, that makes sense because of, like what you said, Greg, the fan poll part of it. And the other part of me was thinking, I don't think there's 50 better defensemen than Seth Jones. Are there 30, 35? Yeah. But I don't know about rounding it out to a even 50 in the NHL that are better than him.
Yeah, you get the fan vote, and then you get this weird way to determine it, which isn't just saying, give me your top 10 defensemen or whatever. So, I mean, if it's randomized and Seth Jones had to face Cale Makar 10 out of 20 times, well, of course, he's going to drop in the rankings. So, as you said, Jay, not scientific, but come on, man. I mean, this is basically, people that just look at the results of the team since he's been on it and saying, well, the team's been bad, so he must be bad.
Well, and that's the fashionable thing too, is like, it's one of these fashionable hockey things where Seth Jones sucks. It is like this new hockey trend because the contract is probably $1.5 million too rich. So now it becomes, it can't be that Seth Jones is slightly overpaid. It has to be that Seth Jones is terrible. That's the only possible outcome that hockey fans can see. And as I look at this list, look, I'm not going to read all 50 that are ahead of him, but Keandre Miller is a really nice prospect, but you're ready to call him better than Seth Jones already?
He's not.
Like, what are we talking about here? Adam Pelech? Like, I mean, there's
some of these names are ridiculous. Like Alec Martinez is ahead of him, just ahead of him. Who would you rather have? Samuel Girard? Come on.
And I think with some of these things, especially if they're fan polling, I think there's a lot of recency bias, and then I think a lot of times, sometimes names, like you said, Jay, sometimes names just get attached to a reputation, and sometimes it's based off of one thing. Yeah, Seth Jones had a really good season in 2017-18, where he finished 4th in Norris Trophy voting, and I think when he was given when he was traded for and given the contract that he was given by the former GM of this team, I think that reputation was what the Blackhawks were signing up for. But I think, like with a guy like Pelech, I think he had one or two really good statistically defensive seasons, and now it's like, oh, Adam Pelech is so underrated. But it's just like, but off of what? One season and a half where he was good defensively on a team like the Islanders, where their whole strategy is everyone plays defense. So I think when you get into these fan voting things, a lot of times the team specific results can get muddled because the opinion of the ethos of the NHL fan community is is influenced by small samples of data. Because I think with Seth Jones that happens too. He's been playing on a team as arguably one of the best 3 players on a team that has been constructed to be garbage. Now, does that make him garbage? No, it just means a lot of things around him are constructed to be really bad.
Yeah.
So that pulls him down with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead with your point, Jay, because I was just going to go over some more of these names that are way too high on this list.
I mean, we've said it every time we have this conversation, we talk about it and how, hockey metrics are very, very flawed and they don't tell you the whole story because there is so much randomness to the game. There's bounces, there's deflections, there's, high sticks, there's all those things that can affect how a game goes and how a metric affects a player. You can watch a guy do everything right on a play and the puck still end up in the back of the net. And look, by no means are we saying Seth Jones is a perfect player or a Norris candidate or anything, but 51st, that is, like, I think Mario, you said it a couple weeks ago, like, it's open season to shit on the Hawks. And look, have they brought that on themselves? Yes, they have brought that on themselves 100%. But at the same time, I challenge fans to look beyond the graphs and the graphics and the contract reputation. I always go back to when the Hawks signed Oli Mata. People laughed at them. Like, what are they doing? Oli Mata, he's washed up. He's the slowest defenseman in the league. He's downright terrible. And then last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever it was, Steve Yzerman signs Oli Mata. What a genius. Wow. Steve Yzerman just finds these. What a brilliant move to bring in a seasoned veteran on this young and up-and-coming team. It's like, what? The only thing that changed is Oli Mata got older, but Steve Yzerman's the one that made the signing, so it must be smart. I think we're seeing kind of the opposite effect of that with the Hawks, and I think people are starting to catch on that Kyle Davidson knows what the F he's doing, and, the reputation that Kyle Davidson has around the league is skyrocketing, right? Because of the drafts he's done, because of the way he's been able to flip some assets and gain assets too, to stock up on these draft picks, and the guys he's drafted have panned out, at least at the lower levels. We got to see what happens in the NHL, but so far so good on most of the important prospects. So that's changing a little bit, but I really want to see what Seth Jones can do to really elevate himself out of this hole in the minds of hockey fans. And look, does it matter? No. Do you think Seth Jones cares? Maybe a little, but at the end of the day, it's not going to change the way he plays. But what we saw from Seth at the end of last season, playing with his brother, who's no longer here, granted, but just playing under Luke Richardson, was a different guy for, what would you say, the last 30 games or so, last 25 games?
After the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to prove that he was worthy of that All-Star game bid and not just sent because the Blackhawks had to have a guy and he's the only guy left. To answer that question, what does he have to do to get a better reputation? The bottom line is the Blackhawks have to start winning.
Right.
He can go out and be amazing next year. And if the Blackhawks are a bottom 5 team, no one's going to care. Just look at this list right here. Devin Taves, ranked 11th. Is Devin Taves the 11th best defenseman in the league? Not a freaking chance.
Yeah, he's better.
He's a really good player.
Hey, Theodore, Josh Morrissey. Yeah, he's better than all. Come on.
11th best defenseman for Devin Taves? No, because he was the number 3 defenseman on a Stanley Cup winning team last year. That's why. I like Devin Taves. I think he's a really good player. Is he just outside the top 10? You're high. You're freaking high if you think that. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'd rather have Seth Jones than Devin Taves. I said it. I just said that. Yes, I would. I think Seth Jones is better. Brings you more.
So, yeah.
Devin Taves is in a perfect situation. Devin Taves was not looked upon as this glowingly great defense until he got off the Islanders and put on the Avalanche.
Right.
There's so many other guys that are way too high on this list. Brent Burns still ranked 26.
Reputation.
Yeah.
Still a very good offensive producer, but who would you rather have on your team, Seth Jones or Brent Burns? That's a good discussion.
Here's how I look at it, right? The Devin Taves thing, Long term, would I rather have Devin Taves and Seth Jones? Probably, for contract situations, age, all those sort of things.
Sure.
But like, if you're voting on something like this and it's saying you're voting on the best players right now, right? You're not thinking about 5 years down the road with like Keandre Miller, who might be a superstar in 3-4 years. Granted, but you're saying it's game 7. I'm up a goal. Who would I rather have on the ice defending me? Seth Jones or Keandre Miller? To me, that's a pretty simple question.
I mean, they've got Mikhail Sergachev at 17.
And again, we're not bad guys either.
Right.
It's just, you know,
if Mikhail Sergachev was still on Montreal, who he originally started with, you think he'd be 17th? No, but he's got to play on those Tampa Bay teams that won all the cups. That helps. So that's what I'm saying. If the Blackhawks start winning, Seth Jones' reputation will start going. It doesn't matter what he does personally. This poll, because it's by the fans, and I love hockey fans, don't get me wrong, but anytime it's a fan vote, it's skewed. It's not, it's not legit in my eyes as far as like the results. And then the way he did it, where it's not, you just don't list your top 10 who you think, do one-on-ones, because we can go further down on this list. You just mentioned Ole Mata. Ole Mata is ranked ahead of Connor Murphy on this list. Connor Murphy is 127th. Are there 126 defensemen you'd rather have than Connor Murphy? Watch a freaking hockey game.
No, not at all.
Nikita Zadorov, who could not have been escorted out of Chicago quickly enough in his 1 year here, because here's what he's known for: hitting you probably illegally and giving you a hand grenade pass that's going to screw you over, is 92nd to Connor Murphy's 127th.
We've had both of those guys. They played together, and Zadorov was just a disaster at times.
Yeah. But all of a sudden he was on a better team and had a nice little run there when Calgary had their run 2 years ago, and all of a sudden now he's great.
Yeah.
You'd rather have you can go up and down this thing and I know, like we said, it's an imperfect science. How about this? Eric Gustafsson. Yep, that Eric Gustafsson is rated ahead of Connor Murphy, of a bunch of guys who are significantly better.
Yeah.
The fact that Eric Gustafsson is voted better as a better defenseman than anybody shows you that this poll is not to be taken seriously. And I know Jay Fresh sits there and probably just
it's great.
It's fantastic content for him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just loves the reaction. Eric Gustafsson had 1 year with the Blackhawks where he had an unbelievable year, and he's been riding that year ever since, and he's never sniffed that year again, and he's one of the worst defensive defensemen in the entire game.
Eric Gustafsson had, I believe it was 60 points in the 2018-19 season with the Blackhawks on the same team that Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and Alex DeBrincat all had their best seasons, and the Blackhawks missed the playoffs.
Yes.
And
instead of trading him there,
that team had no defense, and he was a part of that no defense. Yeah, he put up 60 points. He was wonderful offensively and on the power play, but he was a turnstile as a defenseman, still is.
Yeah, that stuff just, I didn't want to get this angry in the dark today, but here we are.
Angry in the dark. That's
Angry in the Dark.
It's my debut album.
It's my favorite Dio album.
Yeah. Ira in the chat here is asking the important question. Jake McCabe, I believe, was 78th on this list, which honestly, if he's not number one, it's a sham.
Yeah, what kind of list is this?
Yeah.
just to show you Eric Gustafsson, that year he had the 60 points, he was still a -6.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was.
But he's a top 100 defenseman, and Connor Murphy's not. Give me a break.
No. It is a Sunnyside Summer Friday, and I think some of the people that voted on this poll went to Sunnyside, and that's great. I hope they enjoyed themselves. And as it is a Sunnyside Summer Friday, we're going to tell you who made us feel good in Chicago sports this week. How about Ryan Poles? Huh?
Yeah.
Getting the pass rusher, then getting the veteran blocking tight end to solidify things on both sides of the ball. Ryan Poles, he made us feel good this week, just like Sunnyside is going to make you feel great this Friday. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. They're your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are on your cannabis journey, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They also have a loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary, and I talked about this all week, but for those of you, maybe you've never been to a dispensary before, it can feel a little bit intimidating. Don't be. The people at Sunnyside will take you by the hand. Not actually, I mean, if you ask, they probably would, but they're not going to grab your hand without permission. But, they're going to help you through and say, look, I have trouble sleeping, or when I'm headed out with my friends, I start to feel a little bit anxious. And then before the night's over, I want to check out how can I get through the night and feel good and feel confident. They will help you with whatever experience you want. That's why they're there. And no one does it better than the folks at Sunnyside. Check out my favorite brand, the Good News gummies, the rechargeable vape pens and cartridges, perfect for great moments with the crew. I highly recommend the Counting Sheep gummies to help you fall asleep easily. And the Frye vape pen is absolutely wonderful. I also love Mindy's edibles. They are delicious and they make you feel wonderful. Cresco with that always reliable cannabis flower, but other great brands like High Supply, Floracal, Wonder, and Remedy are all available at Sunnyside. And now through August, that's this month, head to sunnyside.shop and use the code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer. It's not stackable with other promotions, but it's not only for first-time customers. Anyone can use their code. So pick up everything you need to elevate your summer at Sunnyside with that code CHGO25 at checkout. Sunnyside.shop, must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med card holder.
Now, I have a question. It's probably easier for someone at Sunnyside to answer this for me, but since no one from Sunnyside is here, I'm going to ask you guys if you have any knowledge. The cannabis flower, is that like cooking flower?
No, that's actual marijuana.
Okay.
The stuff you would in the old days would roll into a joint and smoke.
Okay, and they call that flower.
That's actual marijuana. Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting. All right. Because on the read, it's
for the old heads that want to actually still roll a joint.
Because on the reads, it's spelled like cooking flour, and I was like, oh, interesting. You can make, is that like making cannabis like cookies and muffins and stuff? But no, okay, I got you. I got the terminology there.
Just in case you're wondering, if you're wondering how they make like the brownies back in the day, they put the oil in the butter. And then you bake. That's how you do it. Yeah. I was always confused about like the brownies. Does it just have like?
I always just stuck joints in the brownies.
You might have been doing it wrong.
Tasted like crap.
Well, that's how if you don't know, that's how the vapes work too. Is the oil goes between the heating mechanism and the tip, and then that heats up, and that's how you get it. So there's lots of ways these days to elevate your.
There's many ways. The cannabis game has innovated.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe next time we do a Friday show, I could do some show and tell.
Sure.
Bring out some of, here's the Cresco, and there you can open it up.
You can do an on-air demonstration.
Well, maybe not. I got to get through the show.
There we go. But hey, after you hit up Sunnyside, be sure to stop at your local Circle K store and snack up. Snack up on your stacks. Snack up on your stocks. Stock up on your snacks and all the things you'll need to get through the day. And you can fuel yourself up too. We are excited to partner with Circle K. You can check out all of their goodies and gas at your local Circle K locations. They got the best coffees, best snack selections, best beer selections as well. And you can look out for some freebies and giveaways down the road as well from Circle K. I know we talked about this last time, some of our favorite gas station snacks. What is we did the actual snacks. How about what is the go-to like I'm going in to pay for some gas old school, pay for it at the counter, and you go past the beverage coolers. What's your gas station beverage?
Oh, you guys know I'm addicted to Prime.
That's true. Like crazy. Yeah, it's true.
The Blue Prime is my favorite. They're all good, but the blue is my favorite. That's my go-to.
Greg?
Every once in a while, I either need a Mountain Dew Cold Red or a Cherry Coke. For whatever reason, they taste better from a gas station.
They do. They do. I'm the same way. The cherry Coke is my soda go-to from the gas station. And when I was in high school, and this is something that has transferred to my adult life as well, I loved the Arizona iced teas, those big cans you could get for $1.
The 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll still get those whenever I stop in.
The Arizona iced tea Arnold Palmers are
Yes.
fantastic. I tend to use my
good.
gas station purchases for drinks or snacks to get stuff that I normally don't have at home. Kind of like a special treat.
It's a treat. It's always a treat, especially when you go to Circle K and pick up those treats and fill up your tank. Thanks to Circle K for sponsoring us here at CHGO. You can visit your nearest Circle K to pick up all of your favorite finds and get all fueled up for your summer adventures.
So don't feel bad that you didn't know about flour, because when I was 16, the first time I filled my gas tank, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, you open the door and it's got like all the information about your car, like on the sticker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, my car holds like 12 gallons of gas. So like, and again, well, I don't know. I'm not going to do the math, but it was the 90s. I walk in and I'm like, all right, I need 12 gallons of gas, sir. So he rings me up for 12 gallons of gas, and I give him the money, and then I fill my car up. But of course, the tank's not empty.
Right.
So I'm like, well, what do? I only filled 10 gallons, so I just left. I never went and got my change.
Well, back then it only cost you $3. Today that would have been like a $97, miscalculation.
Yeah. Remember when $15 was like, oh, that's a tank of gas, easy. Nope, anymore. But yeah, so that was my first time filling my tank. Is all right. I need exactly this much gas, and the guy was like, okay, whatever you say. And then I just filled it. I'm like, what? There's still gas in it. What do I do?
It is always awkward when you go in and say, oh, I need, $20 or $25 on pump XYZ. And you overestimate it, and you're like, oh, can I get a refund, please? It's always awkward.
That's why credit cards are great, because you don't have to go in anymore.
That's true.
Mario, do you remember the days too when you would fill up your tank and like somebody would come out and pump it for you? Did you ever have that experience? Like you would run over the hose and go ding ding, and somebody would come out and pump your gas for you?
Okay, so no, not as a kid, but when I went to Seattle for a buddy's wedding a few years ago, there is I don't know if it's a state law or a county law for where we were in Washington State, but you couldn't the attendant had to pump your gas. So when we went and filled up our rental car, I got out of the car, went to the pump, and I was going to put my card in, and it was like, it was like attendant will assist you. And I was like, oh, okay, do I have to go in and pay? And then someone came out and they were like, oh, how much do you need? I'm like, $20. And it was like, okay, punched it into the thing, and then was just like, here you go. And then pumped it. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, it was so weird. But yeah, no, I never experienced when that was like the normal thing. I never experienced that as a kid, but that was a trip when I was in Seattle to see that.
Yeah, they clean your windows and the whole deal.
Yeah.
I went back and sat in the car.
A bunch of windshield wipers in the back of your car.
Yeah, I went back and sat in the car. My wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "They're pumping it for us." It's like I didn't pay for this extra service, but it was interesting.
That used to happen too. If you stopped at a stop sign by our current office about 20 years ago, someone would pop out and wash your windows for you.
Yeah,
it's okay. Please, I'm good.
That's true.
Washing your windows, and then your hubcaps are gone when you get home.
All right. Anyway, a couple comments on the Seth Jones, Connor Murphy list. Ellen K says these rubbish lists are great for getting absolute steals in fantasy hockey drafts, since casual fans believe this crap. Yeah, that's true. That's damn true. And Dan says hopefully this is bulletin board stuff for Jones and Murphy. I don't know if guys like that need that, but I mean, I think it's some like Murphy too. At some point they got to be like, what do we got to do? Like, come on, like we're respectable, good players.
Well, I think the key to them is they know that their front office thinks that they're good players. That's why they get that paycheck every 2 weeks. That's a nice paycheck. So to me, that's the only validation I need. And then quickly, just a shout out to Alan K for using the word rubbish. That's one of my favorite words. Doesn't get used enough. Nice poll on that one.
Nice. We need to bring that overseas back over here. Rubbish. Get a little culture in America here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and two, I think like the point was made where once the Blackhawks are playing better, people will have a different opinion of Seth Jones. He could have the exact same numbers as he did last season, this season, and the team's probably going to be 5 to 7 wins better than they were last year, at least. At least I think so. And I think the perception will be different because the results will be different. So it's a lot of unless you're that upper tier, no doubt, top 5 at your position in the league, what your team does influences how people see you as an individual player.
Yeah. Team success will certainly help. And I think, eventually a decent playoff run for the Hawks with those two. I mean, Jones for sure, but hopefully Connor Murphy will be around too. Will help Jones get back to where he was. And Murphy's been on the Coyotes and the bad Blackhawks. That's it. Yeah. So he hasn't really had a chance to showcase what he can do, on a national stage. Like, of course, the Hawks have been on national television, but to the point where he becomes like a talking point in the game, that really hasn't happened yet. And if they get into a playoff run, like Connor Murphy is going to become a focal point, because look what playoff runs did for Nicholas Hjalmarsson and Patrick Sharp and like those guys who were really good players that maybe weren't household names on those Hawks teams suddenly became them, like Devin Taves, because of a cup run. Those things help get those names out there and get that respect. And Murphy especially has never had the opportunity to display how good of a player he is, aside from your occasional, TNT, ESPN game.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at, a more recent example of something like that. Ryan O'Reilly in the league for years and a well-respected player, but never considered, one of the greats, wins the Stanley Cup with the Blues, and all of a sudden he's this like valuable player that, look at Toronto are bringing in this leadership and stuff. He deserves that recognition. He's been a very good player for a very long time, but it took him winning that Stanley Cup for I think the casual fan to be like, yeah, this Ryan O'Reilly's good. He has to be good. Right. He won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, just the ability to showcase what you can do. And I think too, like in a long series, as the broadcast is looking for talking points, they're going to have to find. You can't just talk about Connor Bedard every night. You can't just talk about Lucas Reichel every night. You got to find some other storylines, and that's when those guys that deserve a little bit of attention finally start to get it. And it makes sense, right? Like if it's a random Wednesday in November, of course that team, their star players will be highlighted because maybe someone's just checking in on hockey for the first time, and who are the guys I really need to know to watch this game. But again, as a playoff series unfolds, then you get a little more opportunity for those lesser known and equally deserving players to get their due. I hope it's I don't know. I think being with Richardson and being a higher profile team this year, even without a playoff run, because just having Bedard is going to have them on national TV a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that should help in all aspects, I would think.
And a quick little production meeting on the air. I just had a great idea for one of these off-season days where we have nothing to talk about. Why don't we draft
month?
Like as soon as Tuesday or Wednesday? We can have a draft where we each draft a full lineup of the best players to never win a Stanley Cup.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
All time, or are we doing current?
We'd have to figure it out.
But yeah,
we'd have to figure it out and lay down some rules, because somebody could, first pick could be Connor Bedard. It's like, well, I mean, sure, but he's never even played a game yet.
Yeah, so, or something like that. Or
at least 100 games.
Yeah,
something like that.
Or like
games.
the player has had to at least play one playoff round or something.
I like that.
Yeah, we could figure it out. But yeah, we'll come up with a draft. To draft our all-time teams of best players to never win a Stanley Cup.
Good idea. I like it.
That'd be fun.
How about? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it'd be what if we narrowed it down like to have never even played for the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, never been to the Stanley Cup final.
Because like Joe Thornton was on that Sharks team that lost to the Penguins, but that was, I think, as my memory serves, that's the only time he's been to the final.
Well, then that means Jeremy Roenick is off the list.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because there's gonna be a lot of ex Blackhawks to be on that list,
right? Yeah,
in our draft.
Does Hockey Reference have that like sortable tool?
Sortable.
I bet you that somebody's got to.
You could find
not them.
A list of it, yeah.
Not them. What's the quaint? Statistics?
Oh yeah, quant hockey. Yeah,
quant hockey. They're really good for finding very specific stats.
Yeah.
All right, or we'll make Sarah do it.
Sure.
There we go.
That's her weekend project. Research at least 300 a database of 300 players that never won a Stanley Cup.
Well, you know who's about due to have his reputation sullied because of his contract? I don't know if people saw this today.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson. I think we all agree, decent player, right? For the Capitals, a good player, more famous for his dirty hits than his play, but signed a 7-year deal with a $6.5 million cap hit today, $45.5 million for Tom Wilson. And all of a sudden, Tom Wilson sucks. Look at Twitter today. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're given 7 years, $6.5 million for a guy that's had one 50-point season, you're going to start to go, I know he brings a lot to that team besides goals and points, but still, this just goes to show being Alex Ovechkin's buddy gets you paid.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps a lot.
You said paid, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes. And probably something else too.
It gets you in a commercial for what was it, Capital One?
Oh yeah.
You get to eat cereal at his house and do a commercial.
Yeah. No, the other thing with Wilson and the deal is that he's going to turn 30 in March. So you're signing him till he's 36, 37 years old as a bruising power forward. I don't know how many bruising power forwards play productively until they're 36, 37 years old. Not many.
Yeah, unless
he's already showing signs.
Yeah, exactly. But unless you're a guy who scores and plays physical, he's just not. Yeah, it is a bad contract. He's not a bad player. He doesn't suck, but it's way too long.
He's a bad guy on the ice. So I'll at least say that, because who knows? He might be so nice off the ice. Who knows? But yeah, I mean,
he hasn't played.
Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead. I was just saying he hasn't played a full 82 game season since 2016, 2017. Some of that's been because suspensions, and some of that's been injuries. He only played 33 games last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty hurt last year. He was banged up a lot.
Yeah, so I just think, from a Capitals fan perspective, I can see why you would like this, because I guess the biggest point is that he is like, you're basically locking him up to be a Capital for his entire career. He's a guy that fan base loves. He's a guy that once Ovechkin retires, maybe you could see as being a team leader. So I get all of that, and I get he does have some production behind his physical play that plays on the line and crosses it many times. But man, I just don't see how this contract is going to be a good value. Even as soon as he signed it, it was just like, oof. I think Dom Lucian put out that if that contract was signed when he did his top 10 worst in the league, it would have been 5th based off of his model. So like, it's quite the decision by the Capitals, but they're a team that's in a position where I don't know what they do. They don't have a good prospect pool. They don't have a roster that's like in a win now mode. You still have Ovechkin, but like
their primary function is to get Ovechkin a record.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Their next 3 years is about getting him past Wayne Gretzky, and Tom Wilson's the guy that Alex Ovechkin wants to help him do that. They're going to keep him. Like,
this
contract contender.
it feels a lot to me like the Seabrook deal. And I'm not saying that Tom Wilson is a Seabrook level player. He's not. But like when that deal was announced, I think we were all like, ooh, what? Like that he's already arrow pointed down and you're giving him this massive, long, expensive deal. Like that's going to be a huge problem down the road. And guess what? It is. And it was. And it's, I like when I saw that, I kind of was like, what? I swear to God, I thought it was a typo.
Yeah.
And again, this is what we're talking about with Seth Jones. Like, it's nothing against him. Like, hey man, congrats, way to go.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Make the most money you can. Like, don't. He's fine now. Tom Wilson. Yeah, Tom Wilson's not going to be offered that contract and say, nah,
of course,
too much, guys. Come on. No, he's going to sign it, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that's a decision by the Capitals that I don't think I would have made.
It is certainly a decision.
I mean, you talk about bad contracts. What contract would you rather have 4 years from now, Seth Jones or Tom Wilson? 2 years from now, 3 years from now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's only going to get worse as it keeps going. A guy, the way Tom Wilson plays, his body is already starting to deteriorate. It's going to get worse. He's a physical player. You just can't keep doing that. You're eventually going to slow down. He's had 3 seasons in his career of over 20 goals. He's a nice player. I know he gives you the intangibles, but you can go get guys that can give you those intangibles you can go get a guy that scores 20 goals and punches guys in the face for far less than $6.5 million. And I know there's other things that go in there, team chemistry, blah, 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 all that stuff. Sure. But to jump in the comment sections of some of these posts, like the Capitals, when they announced it and some of the other national guys, I mean, it was total opposite. Cap fans are like, I've saw dozens and dozens and dozens of Capital fans calling him future captain. I'm going, what? That's the guy you want to be your captain? It's like what good is your captain if he's what good is your captain if he's suspended for 10 games a year? Like, okay, sure. That's what you want in leadership in your team. Enjoy not making the playoffs. Like, it's just, but then you get the opposite side where everybody was like us, like, what the hell are you doing, Capitals? This is a bad idea. This is a case of a guy being rewarded for past performance, not for what he may do in the future.
Never a good idea. That's the thing that when Theo Epstein took the Cubs job, that was the thing he said. He said a lot of good things and did a lot of good things, but like that stood out to me. Like, yeah, that makes so much sense. As you don't pay a guy for what he's done, you pay him for what he's going to do.
Yeah,
and it worked. It causes some tough. Like when you just to look, if we're going to use the Cubs equivalent, like of all those painful departures of Bryant and Baez and Rizzo, the only one who's really doing anything is Rizzo. Like Javi's not the same. Like he's got his moments, right? Like he always does. Bryant's been hurt, and when he's been playing, he hasn't been great. Like sometimes you got to just rip that Band-Aid off, and that's why the Hawks were in the situation there, because they just refused to rip the Band-Aid off, which is why the three of us are so bullish on when people are like, bring back Kane and Taves. No, move on.
Yeah.
Like, it's time. It's beyond time. And you could just do this forever and say, yeah, but 3 cups, like that was a long ass time ago. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Eight
summers ago.
Yes. I think it's a long time. And they haven't won shit since then. So it's bad business to sign a deal like that. And look, like, let's be honest, like the Seth Jones deal is bad business by the guy the former GM. There's no doubt about it. But he's here now. At least you don't see like the decline underway for Jones. Like, the metrics don't look good because he's been on a bad team. But when you watch him on the ice, he's still at the top of his game physically. He can still do all the things he was doing when he was a Norris Trophy candidate.
Yeah.
The only difference is the team sucks. Yeah,
you want to hand out these kinds of contracts to guys like look what the Ducks just did with Troy Terry. That's a fantastic choice to get a 25-year-old who's coming off of back-to-back 60-point seasons, who's going to be a key member of your team for the next 6, 7 years, give him a 7-year contract because of what you expect him to do over the length of that contract, and pay him. Was it 7 by 7? I think it was. Like, that's what you want to do. You don't want to pay the guy who's going to turn 30 a 7-year deal for what he's already done, and with the expectation that he's going to repeat what he did in what is essentially the prime of his hockey career, because of how short those primes can be, especially for a player of his caliber and the way he plays. Like, you don't want to be giving these long-term contracts to these aging players. You want to give it to guys right when they're hitting their peak. So it's rough. It's hard to do.
Well, and Alan Alan said you can pay a guy for what he's done for a 1 or 2 years, like a one or 2 year contract, not for 6 years. That's a good point. Like, look, we got to fill this gap. So thank you for your service. Here's an extra $1 million or whatever, while we figure out how to. Hey.
Let there be lights.
Wonderful.
But
wonderful timing.
Yeah, a 1 or 2 year thing is not going to kill you to over. Like, it's a good example is like the Corey Perry and Nick Foligno thing. They're 1 year deals, and yeah, they're grossly overpaid for what they're worth. But who cares? It's 1 year. They're here to fill slots until kids are ready, and you just say thank you for being here, and here's your money.
Yeah,
6 year deal for somebody like that would be absurd.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Troy Terry. He's got a 7-year contract. He'll be 32 when that deal ends. That's just 2 years older than Tom Wilson will be at the start of his 6-year contract. Like,
right.
But hey, it's not our problem. We're not going to have to bitch about it. We're not going to have people in our chat all for the next 6 years. I mean, they'll still be bitching about Seth Jones, but like, hey, I'm okay with it. Like, let the Capitals regret this like immediately. You're paying a guy that kind of money and that term, a guy that missed 50 games last year.
Yeah. Seems
like a prime contract that will either be moved or bought out before he sees the end of the deal.
Yeah, that's an LTIR trade. He's a future Arizona Coyote.
I also wonder too, like, not that we're going to spend a lot of time on the Capitals here, but once Ovechkin gets that record and retires, like, what are they going to do?
I don't know what their future is
for a decade.
Don't worry, they got Andrew Cristal, didn't they? Isn't that who they? Didn't they? Isn't that the team that drafted him? They got him. He's the savior. He's going to bring them back to the promised land.
I love your hatred for Andrew Cristal.
It's so irrational. I'm sure he's a great kid, but having his name thrown at us for 1.5 years just because he's Connor Bedard's friend, maybe like, no, keep that kid away from our team.
Like when the White Sox signed Manny Machado's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yonder Alonso.
Yonder Alonso.
That was gonna work. Anyway. Hey, by the way, did you guys see the other day? I was on the Instagram, as I do, and I saw Tevin Jenkins from the Bears was wearing a Bears overalls.
Yeah.
Must come in huge sizes, and he shouted out our friends at FOCO.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a banana hammock on under that, but the overalls look good.
It's the look of the summer.
Yeah, FOCO is our favorite place to go out and get fitted out in the best sports gear around. They have everything. They have those Bears overhauls. They have hoodies. We don't need them just yet, but maybe you want to get on the hoodie bandwagon a little early. Maybe save some money buying them in August as opposed to wait until October. You can get shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. It's summertime. It's baseball season. At least, there might be some meaningful games in this town over the next few weeks. They can get your Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. Normally, when we are in our wonderful set there at the CHGO HQ, you'll see a lot of the decorations FOCO has donated to giving us bobbleheads, all kinds of really cool things to decorate our set. You can get some of those as well to decorate your home office. Take something to work. Maybe you want a little spice up your cubicle a little better. Whatever you want to do, FOCO has everything you need, either for wearing out and about or decorating your home or office. So check out FOCO, FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below And as a special deal for our great listeners, use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off all non-presale items.
Yeah, they're good looking overalls. I
Yeah.
don't know if I can pull that off, but they look good. I like it.
Yeah.
Good job, Tevin.
Yeah. I think I think that's probably going to be a company-wide look. I think we should make that mandatory for the first Bears tailgate.
See,
everyone wear your Bears overalls.
Greg, we can't have a normal-sized human being making fashion choices for the entire company because
clearly those overalls come in.
Hang out of the side of overalls at a tailgate. I promise you that.
Those overalls come in offensive lineman sizes. I think you guys will be fine.
It's true. If they can fit our guy, there we go. They can fit our guy here. I think they could fit us, and they're actually pretty high. Like some overhauls, they're a little low, so those might actually work. I would definitely be wearing a t-shirt or a
you don't have
under
to.
mine.
You don't have to be shirtless like Tevin Jenkins is, but
no. Do the dogs come with the overalls? Because then I might get them for sure then, because those are some good looking dogs.
Yeah, sweet looking. I'm down. All right. Well, we got a couple more chats we're going to get to before we wrap up, but we want to remind everybody once again about the CHGO Kickoff Classic Golf Outing. Again, Friday, August 25th at Cog Hill Course number 2. That's the Ravines. CHGO, Big Drive Energy, and Pins and Aces are hosting. It's going to be an awesome time. You can sign up as an individual, a twosome, or a foursome. And if you're a diehard, you're going to save. Here's what you get with your entry fee: 18 holes with the cart, exclusive Pins and Aces tee gift for every player, access to our limited edition Pins and Aces and CHGO polo. There's going to be hole contests, giveaways, trophies for, I don't know if it's trophies, but prizes for the winning team and the last place team. That's my team. Sorry, Mario. Lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round. It's going to be an awesome time. And I said this earlier this week. They often say tickets are going fast. When tickets aren't selling, friends, tickets are selling. If you want to come to this, you should not wait much longer. I know it's Friday, payday for a lot of folks. Jump on allchgo.com and go join us at the CHGO Kickoff Classic. It's going to be an awesome time. I really cannot wait. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, good day of golf. Fun times had for everybody, no matter what your score is at the end of the day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Golf with friends, golf with us here at your favorite CHGO personalities, maybe even not your favorite CHGO personalities. Maybe you really don't like us, but you hate watch us and you like golf and you come out and you want to poke fun at us for how bad we are at golf. Hey, that's fine. Come out and have some fun, whatever you want to do. It'll be a good time, good food after the round. Prizes galore. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm willing it into existence. A beautiful 83-degree sunny day on August 25th.
That sounds wonderful. All right, a couple chats before we go. Charlie said he's playing Cog Hill on the 13th, and he'll give us some tips after that. Thank you, Charlie. He also asked if there's going to be a CHGO Fantasy Hockey League.
Maybe.
Things are difficult to manage.
Maybe.
The bracket challenge.
You know what we might do? We might make it a diehard fantasy hockey league.
Ooh, see, there you go. Incentivize that.
Yeah.
Like
limited spots available. We'll work on that.
I like that. Ellen K says, "What's the update on being at the Chicago Pittsburgh game on October 10th?" No update yet. The seed has been planted, but we need to water the seed a little more, I think. That would be really great for us to be at Connor Bedard's first game. At least one of us. Hopefully the three of us, but at least one of us should be there, I think. I guess maybe I can drive out there. I'll hate that for you guys. And then Paul T says, "Sorry if this has already been covered. I'm late to the party. But if Nazar has a great college season, is it possible that we might see him as a late season addition to the Hawks team?" That's potentially, and he scored again today in the World Junior Champion or the USA. What is it? Team USA World Junior
Summer Showcase. Yep.
I think it's his 4th goal of the tournament. So he's doing great. He is he's lighting things up. So it's going to be he's definitely got a chance. And let's hope this momentum carries from this camp to Michigan, to the World Juniors, and eventually to Chicago, because the kid looks awesome right now.
Yeah, I think if Michigan's season ends in time where the NHL season is still going on, I have no doubts that he's gonna, if he has the year that I think a lot of people are expecting him to, I have no doubts that he's gonna pop in for the last few games. Like,
and they're not going to be. You would know better than me. They're not expected to be as good as they were last year, right?
Michigan.
Yeah, they lost Fantilli. Obviously, that's a huge loss for them.
They lost Fantilli, but I think that's it of consequence. I'd have to look at who might have graduated or who might be making their NHL debuts. I haven't updated their roster in my head all that much. But I think I think McGorty might still be there. I think Samoskevich might play another season. Brindley, I think, will be there again. I think the Luke Hughes I know is not going to be there.
Yeah.
So Luke Hughes and Fantilli are big losses, but I think that they'll be able to reload. And yeah, I think they're still probably going to be one of the best teams in the Big Ten, probably one of the best teams in the country. So they probably will have a long postseason. But I think if he has a productive year, Ace says Samoskevich signed with Florida. Okay, so there's another name off the board. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. But yeah, I would be surprised if he's not if he doesn't get, you burn that first year, he plays 2-3 games at the end of the season. I wouldn't hate that plan if they make that decision.
That means I'm going to have to root against Michigan. It's really hard for me to root against Michigan.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, well, I guess I'll find the way to do it. I'll find it in my soul. All right, we're going to wrap things up. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. We're back Monday for, Mailbag Monday. Get those questions in at CHGO_Blackhawks on Twitter. Same thing on Threads, even though it feels like Threads is kind of dying. And also, you can hit us up on our members-only Discord. Send your questions there. They get priority every week. And you can also email us, blackhawks@allchgo.com. Thanks to Sarah for running the show. For Mario and Greg, I'm Jay. Have a great Friday. We'll talk to you Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.